let's go to another blue blood tonight. One that did not pull it out late. That is Kentucky. They struggled on the road at Tennessee. Got down early, made a little bit of a comeback second half, cut it to 8, but then just got kind of steamrolled by the Volunteers. Let's talk Tennessee first, because I mean that has to be the story. They beat a really good Kentucky team by 15 points, took care of business at home. Rob, what did you think about the Vols tonight? Does this tell you that they are maybe getting slept on a little bit? They're 10th in KenPom. They're way up there. Is this a true Final Four contender?
Ooh, true Final Four contender. Yeah, I think that they can get there if they're going to shoot the way they shot tonight and play offense the way that they played over the course of the last month. I went back and I checked our friend over at Torvik, Bart Torvik. He's the way that he does his metrics, you can kind of look at where a team would rank in terms of efficiency over the course of a certain period of time. And if you go back starting from the day after that beat down against Kentucky until today, Tennessee is a top 15 offense in college basketball. And if they're going to do that with the way that they can lock up and guard when they want to lock up and guard, that is a team that can make it to a Final Four. I love the way that Kennedy Chandler is playing. I love the fact that they're able to play Sakai Ziegler off of him and that they can give you different looks by running Santiago Vescovi out there with him as well. I think Josiah Jordan-James making shots is an absolute game changer for him because JJJ can really lock you down. I don't know how many guys that are his size and his versatile defensively that there are in college basketball. And if he's making shots and can space the floor as well, that becomes a problem. And I also think that the multiple different looks they can give you up front, like if you go back and look at their box score, every night it's a different big guy up front. There's like 4 or 5 dudes that they can kind of run out there. It's the Plavsic kid, what is it? Adu, whatever his name is. He came in the other night and had like 12 points off the bench.
Fulkerson was great tonight. He had that big one against Arizona.
He was really good. He was really good.
Huntley Hatfield or whatever his name is. Like they got like 19 different dudes that come out of nowhere off their bench that just go out and do a job up front. And they have enough guards to be able to make plays. I think that they can get to a Final Four. I'm not ready to bet on it yet, but I think that they can find a way to get there. But can I rip this strength coach for Kentucky now? I'm watching this thing right now.
He's geared. Rob's been geared up for this. Hit him.
This idiot. So Kentucky got out to a great start in this game. Like they were up by 6 early. They were playing really well. Kellen Grady made a couple shots. TyTy Washington hit a couple threes, and they're up by 2. And there's a loose ball where John Fulkerson kind of like falls into the Kentucky bench, and the Tennessee players are trying to go over there. Like it was one of those things where he was like on the edge of the court, so he kept kind of slipping and falling, and he's like balance is being held up by the Kentucky guys. So the Tennessee players are over there trying to get him out of there. And one of the strength coach, this little short little guy, with the white half zip on at the end of the bench. If you saw the play, you know who I'm talking about. Sakai Ziegler kind of like moves him out of the way because he's trying to get his guy out of there. And this grown man goes to a 5'9", 19-year-old and decides to get in his face. Like he's got something to prove. Like he was disrespected because some 19-year-old kid decided to try to get his teammate out of the scrum of another team's bench. And that kind of set the things off. People were pushing, people were shoving. It was a lot of fake tough guys. But that got the crowd into it. That got the Tennessee team fired up, and they immediately went on a 17-1 run, and that game was a blowout from there on out. It's all on that strength coach decided he had to go full Napoleon complex to try to show how manly he was to some 19-year-old point guard. Like that, he lost him that game. It's nothing, man. Like that got me so fired. Like, what are you doing? Is it going to get him fired too? But when Cal goes back and watch that tape, I guarantee he's going to be pissed off at that guy because that's what set off that run. And Kentucky never responded from the punch that they took in that moment.
Yep. Yeah. RC, anything else? I mean, obviously that was a big momentum turner. Was there something you saw on the court that you were thinking, oh man, like Tennessee is just controlling Kentucky in some regard? What were you seeing in that one?
They got punched in them off early, but I thought they were going to slowly get back, and they made a run. They cut it to 9, I think. I think the biggest thing coming out of this game, we talked about the other day, we knew they had a tough stretch. We knew they weren't going to win out. You know, they were due for a loss. Now the concern is TyTy. If TyTy Washington if his ankle's bothering him and that injury is lingering, I would just shut him down for a while until I can get him healthy enough, because this is the Final Four national championship roster, and they're not going to do it without him. And
he only took 2 shots tonight.
Yeah, I
He only
take
took
my
2
lumps
shots
over the
tonight.
next 2 weeks to get him healthy. Whatever's going on, he just, he went down. I don't think he came back in the game. They need to get him right, or if he has a high ankle sprain and that's lingering, then that changes. All bets are off on Kentucky because they're not going far without him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Rob, next 2.5 weeks for Kentucky. They've got Alabama at home, LSU at home, at Arkansas, and then Mississippi and at Florida. Probably need to win 4 of those to get up to a 1 seed. Do you think they can get there? And I guess how much does it depend on TyTy? Can they win those games if they don't have a healthy TyTy?
Yeah. If they don't have a healthy
RC's
TyTy,
shaking his head violently no for those listening.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I think that they're going to end up being a top 3 seed no matter what happens, right? Whether or not you win these games down the stretch. I think no one cares if no one in Big Blue Nation, no one is going to care if you're a 1 seed or a 3 seed. Like, let this dude get healthy. I don't know. It's hard for us on the outside to know if TyTy Washington is a dude that is always hurt but never actually injured, or if he's really gutting through an ankle injury that's painful. And I'm going to lean towards the latter because I saw how far those ankles rolled the 2 times that he injured it, the time against Auburn on the road and the time against Florida. So I think that he's trying to tough it out and play through an injury right now. I think you could see that in the fact that he played, 23 minutes tonight, took 2 shots. Both of them are threes, right? 3 turnovers. That's not a TyTy Washington kind of. He had 28 against Tennessee the first time that they played. Sit him down, let him get healthy. Sometimes the best thing you could do for a kid that's trying to tough it out is to tell him to relax and take a couple weeks off. Even if it's just 1 week, take 7 days and go get that thing iced up, get in the trainer's room, get some heat on it, get some stim on it. Like, find a way to get yourself to a point where you're back to being TyTy Washington instead of being a dude out there with an ankle brace on.
Because he's probably the competitor that doesn't want to sit. There's plenty of guys out there like that are, I'm good enough to play, but you got to see the long-term picture. Somebody's probably got to say that to him. All right. Both these teams now, Kentucky and Tennessee, are tied in the SEC standings, 10-3. Which one do you think has a better shot at making a run at Auburn, who's got the 2-game lead? Can either of them win out and get that potential SEC title game? No, I'm seeing no's from both of you guys.
No. Auburn is going to win the SEC regular season.
It's over.
It is what it is.
It's already over.
It's over.
Okay.
They got through their tough games. What I will say is this though. If you had to pick one of these 3 teams, let's say a healthy Kentucky, let's say TyTy takes 2 weeks off and he comes back to SEC tournament healthy. Tennessee playing the way they're playing right now, or Auburn with Zep Jasper in the lineup. RC, who you taking? Who's winning the SEC tournament? You got to pick one. You got to put your net worth. You got to put net worth. Taking Auburn?
I'm taking Auburn.
Jim, who you got?
I'll go Auburn. My net worth's not very high, so this isn't much of a gamble for me, but that's all right. I'll take the Tigers. I'll trust Bruce Pearl with my $5 in my pocket.
That's interesting. I think I probably would lean Auburn too, but I don't think it's a shoo-in. I think Auburn's probably the best team in the SEC, but I think Kentucky's right up there with them when they're playing full strength. And I think that Tennessee is kind of getting there. Like, I think they've won what? They've won 8 straight games in the SEC. And the one loss in that stretch was in the Big 12 SEC challenge when they lost by 1 at Texas in a game where Josiah Jordan-James had a wide open look at a 3 to win it at the buzzer that rimmed out. Like they're hitting their stride. And this was the team, remember, they were a preseason, top 10, top 12 team in the country.
Yeah. And then they've sat right around there. They've kind of gone under the radar at this point.